Hey leaders, and welcome back. I want to start today's episode with a small nod to a previous conversation we've had about Google Notebook LM. I received some great feedback on that episode, and it reminded me that every so often it is useful to share some practical productivity tech advice. While most other episodes focus on leadership styles and the philosophy behind how we manage people, I believe that the tools we use to manage ourselves are just as important. Before we dive in, I want to be very clear about one thing. This episode is not sponsored by either of the apps I'm about to discuss. I'm sharing my experience because these tools have made a genuine difference in my workflow, and I think they might do the same for yours. Welcome to the Level Up Leadership Podcast. If you found this episode, that probably means you're a leader looking to level up their leadership game. If that's right, make sure you follow and subscribe to Level Up Leadership now. Okay, here's today's episode. If you followed my journey for a while, you will know that I'm an independent creator. This podcast is a passion project for me. Because of that, I've always tried to keep my costs down to the absolute minimum, while also trying to keep my systems as simple as possible. Google has always been my friend in this space, and I still firmly recommend that people start their journey with all the free Google apps. They are robust, reliable, and more than enough for most people starting out. So why did I start experimenting with other apps? Well, it was mostly because I kept hearing other creators and leaders mention a few specific names. Among them were Todoist and Whisperflow. People speak about them with such high regard that I felt it was worth investigating whether they were actually worth switching. I did not jump straight into a subscription. I started with the free versions of both to see if they could actually handle the complexity of my work. I quickly realised that they were doing something my free tools couldn't quite match. Today, these two tools are among a very small selection of apps that I'm prepared to pay for. Let's look at Todoist first. I used to think a simple list was enough, but as this product grew, I realised that the to-do list for a single episode is surprisingly complicated. It is no longer just about recording and uploading. When I sit down to create an episode, the list of tasks is extensive. I have to prepare for interviews, edit the main audio, create promo reels for social media, produce bite-sized replays for different platforms. Each of those platforms require a different format and a different approach. And then there's a matter of putting all those things in the right order so the launch goes in the correct order. This is where Todoist became a game changer for me. It allows for what I call branching actions. I can create a main project for an episode and then branch out into dozens of subtasks that are neatly nested. It stops the process from feeling like a giant, overwhelming mountain and turns it into a series of manageable steps. More importantly, it includes a functional interface for tracking things like durations. I can see how long a task should take. Crucially, I can build in buffer times into my deadlines. And for someone trying to juggle a busy work life with personal commitments, those buffers and pieces of information are really essential. It means that if a recording session runs over or an edit takes longer than expected, the rest of my week doesn't collapse like a house of cards. It provides a level of structural integrity to my schedule that some of the free tools just lack. The second tool I talked about was Whisperflow. Now, many of you will be familiar with the standard Windows version of transcription or basic voice-to-text apps. And while they're functional, they can be a bit frustrating. They require you to speak like a robot to get anything accurate. If you usually end up spending more time fixing the errors than you would have spent typing, then you'll find that Whisperflow is different. It uses a light dusting of AI to refine your speech as you talk. It sometimes seems to know what you mean, even if you stumble over your words or hesitate. And if I'm brainstorming a new leadership framework or a new idea, I can just talk naturally and correct myself as I go. The most impressive part is how it handles all of that and all of the formatting. If I'm dictating a list of points, for example, it recognises the structure and writes a neat bullet-pointed list for me rather than just producing a long, messy stream of consciousness. It allows me to capture my thoughts at the speed of my voice without the friction of typing. For a leader, being able to clear your head and document ideas quickly is a massive advantage. As I mentioned, I'm very selective about what I pay for. Besides these two, one other notable app on my list is Descript. I use it for heavy lifting of my audio and video editing. I love Descript. I've got so much to say about it. I'm actually working on a series of tutorials. And in the meantime, you could check out an article I've written on Descript on our Substack, which is on levelupleadership.uk. That's the usual website, all one word, levelupleadership.uk. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you see the tutorials when they drop. So back to the main two apps that we're talking about today. I decided to keep both Todoist and Whisperflow because they don't just do tasks, they give me back time and mental energy. They allow me to focus more on the leadership and creation parts of my projects and less on the admin parts. So I would encourage you to test them and try them for yourself. You don't need to take my word for it. See if they fit your specific way of working for yourself. There'll be links in the show notes to help you find them. And if you do decide to use my links, there's usually a special offer and a little bonus for both you and me, depending on what the apps are running at the time. So give them a go. Thank you for joining me on this bit of a tech talk alongside our usual leadership journey. I hope it helps you find a bit more space in your day. If it does, then make sure you share it with your network so that your colleagues and your teams can also benefit. As always, you can find us on all the usual platforms. Wherever you're listening, please do take the time to rate and review the podcast and like and subscribe. It really helps the podcast. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and keep leveling up. You've been listening to the Level Up Leadership Podcast. If you found this episode, that probably means you're a leader looking to level up their leadership game. If that's right, make sure you follow us and subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. We're available on all major platforms. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll see we regularly have additional bite-sized mini-clips of the most important points. And if you subscribe to our main hub on levelupleadership.uk, that's all one word, levelupleadership.uk, you'll have access to the articles that come with each episode, as well as additional bonus articles, some of which are guests or collaborations with other writers. Make sure you follow and subscribe to Level Up Leadership now.